Build a warm family.
With these words, my wife left this world. After losing my beloved, I became like a shell of a person. Then, I met a new female employee. Her mannerisms reminded me of my wife, and the gaping hole in my heart began to fill slowly. This person. Seeing a photo of my wife and me, she broke down in tears upon speaking my wife's name. Then the woman made a proposal to me. My name is Tom Healy. I married Jessica when I was 35, but at 40, Jessica was diagnosed with breast cancer. Despite treatment, she passed away 2 years later. Jessica died on a rare snowy day in the city. Lying in bed and looking out at the snow falling outside, Jessica said,
"I wanted to see spring flowers. Tom, thank you so much for everything. Do you remember our dream? To build a warm family."
I couldn't respond. Our dream was to build a warm family with our children. My parents divorced when I was small. I don't remember my father. I lived with my mother alone, but I grew tired of her constantly changing boyfriends. After graduating high school, I left home and had hardly been in touch since. On the other hand, Jessica had almost no memory of her parents talking. They exchanged only the bare minimum of words. She said she felt very uncomfortable in her own home. Neither of us had high hopes for marriage. But as we grew closer, we naturally felt that we wanted to stay together forever. What kind of warm family would it be?
Isn't it spending time thinking about each other with the feelings you have now? We will surely be happy.
I remembered Jessica saying this with a sparkling smile. Life was truly enjoyable and happy after we married. We didn't have children yet, but we were happy just with the two of us. We were supposed to build an even warmer family with our future children. Why did she get breast cancer? Why did she have to die before me? I wanted to build a warm family with Jessica. Did she understand what I was thinking? Jessica looked at me with a sad expression. Jessica, I will always cherish you. I chose my words carefully, trying to convey my feelings so as not to worry her. Jessica smiled gently and nodded.
I will watch over you from above as you live happily.
With these words, Jessica quietly passed away, as if being absorbed by the cold sky. After Jessica died, I lost the will to live. I had no appetite or energy. I didn't want to see anyone, and honestly, I wanted to stay shut in at home, but I remembered Jessica's words about watching from above and somehow managed to go to work. In April, when the cherry blossoms were in full bloom, a few new employees were assigned to our department. As the leader, I was in charge of the new recruits. The young one's enthusiasm somewhat helped to mask my sadness over Jessica's death.
Come on, let's try doing it like the senior.
Among the newcomers was a standout. Claire Hanks. She was bright, confident, and tackled her work without hesitation, leading the other new employees. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. You won't know if you can do it unless you try it yourself.
Claire, where are you coming from with that perspective?
Claire stuck out her tongue playfully. I couldn't help but smile along. Come to think of it, Jessica used to say that often.
Don't put a lid on your potential. First, you need to try it yourself.
Claire's positive attitude reminded me of Jessica. Today was the new employee welcome party.
Leader, may I sit next to you?
Claire sat next to me. Claire, can you drink alcohol?
What are you talking about? Of course.
Despite saying that, Claire was already tipsy after just one glass of beer. Don't drink too much.
Yes. You're like a father figure, leader.
I was a little startled to be called father. I wasn't planning to walk through life with anyone other than Jessica, and I probably wouldn't become a father. But somehow, the word father felt warm and made me happy.
Oh, Tom, you're left-handed, aren't you?
Claire was exaggeratedly surprised.
Left-handedness isn't that rare these days.
Young people do unexpected things, which is interesting. As I thought this,
Left-handed people are said to have good intuition. So I'll consult you, leader.
I couldn't believe my ears. Many people say that left-handed people are smart and skilled, but I had only heard about intuition from one person, Jessica. Who told you that left-handed people have good intuition? I asked Claire hesitantly, but she was too drunk to hear my question and started talking about herself.
I've fallen for someone, but I don't know what to do.
Claire recently reconnected with a classmate from elementary school and developed feelings for them. She had never liked anyone before and was confused about how to handle these feelings. The fact that she had never liked anyone before caught my attention, but Claire was cheerful and spoke in her usual manner, so I didn't interrupt her. From what I heard, her old classmate, who knew Claire from childhood, seemed to genuinely care about her and was a very nice man. I advised her to express her feelings to the person she liked since she had finally found someone she liked. Being close to someone you like makes you happy every day.
That sounds nice. Do you think I can be happy too?
I couldn't shake the feeling that Claire had some shadows in her. 1 month after the drinking party, Claire came to me during lunch break.
Actually, about the person I consulted you about before, we've started dating.
That's great. Her beaming smile made me happy too.
So, I have a favor to ask of you.
Claire wanted to have a meal with her boyfriend and me. Me too. It was to thank me for helping her start dating. Apparently, she had already gotten her boyfriend's approval. If he said it was okay, then it should be fine. I was home alone anyway, and being with young people gave me energy, so I gladly agreed to meet with them. He was exactly as I had intuitively sensed, thoughtful of Claire and left a very good impression. The young man was very friendly. As we talked about various things, we discovered that we both shared a love for fishing. Since the passing of someone dear, I hadn't felt like going fishing, but the conversation led to us deciding to go fishing together as a trio. Both the young man and Claire grew fond of me, and before I knew it, I became close to both of them, even going out and drinking together with the young man. The two of them began to fill the void in my heart. Before long, these two became important to me. 2 years later, one day during lunch, while I was leisurely gazing at the sky from an outdoor bench, someone approached me.
We're getting married.
Oh, congratulations. I was surprised by the sudden news, but seeing how happy Claire looked, I couldn't help but recall the sight of someone else in a wedding dress. Is Claire going to wear a pure white wedding dress too? Even though Claire wasn't my actual daughter, I felt an emotional connection. Noticing my silence, Claire began speaking rapidly. She talked about how they recently visited a wedding venue, how the sample meal was so delicious she almost fell off her chair, and how she would soon be trying on dresses.
What color of dress do you think would suit me?
My wife wore 2 dresses, a pure white wedding dress and a pink one. My wife loved cherry blossoms. I suddenly remembered that I still had some photos on my phone. Searching through the photo album filled with the radiant smile of my wife, I found the wedding pictures and showed them to Claire.
Huh? This person. Jessica?
Upon seeing the picture of my wife and me, Claire mentioned my wife's name and broke down in tears. Did you know Jessica? Claire nodded repeatedly as she wiped her tears.
She was my mentor. So, you were her husband.
Claire began to excitedly share her relationship with my wife, her tone revealing the deep affection she had for her. Claire's father had been mostly absent from her life since she was young, and her frail mother had passed away when Claire was in the 3rd grade. Her father, indifferent to his daughter, left Claire to live with her paternal grandmother. But when Claire was in her 2nd year of middle school, her grandmother died in an accident. Claire said she deeply resented her father, who didn't even attend the funeral. Becoming completely alone, Claire was placed in a facility, where she began to spiral out of control. One day, while she was skipping class and wandering near the school gates, the school nurse, Jessica, called out to her.
Since you came all the way to school, why don't you at least have lunch?
Jessica took Claire to the nurse's office. That sounds just like Jessica.
The basics of living start with eating.
I recalled how often Jessica would say those words. Jessica listened intently to Claire's story. She even shared her own experiences with Claire, who, in turn, felt a strong sense of trust toward Jessica, believing she could confide in her. Jessica must have seen something of herself in Claire's complex family situation and couldn't leave her alone. After that, Claire began attending the nurse's office regularly, and thanks to Jessica, she turned her life around and began to look forward with hope.
There's something I want to tell Miss Jessica. Can we meet her next time?
Actually, Jessica is no longer here. I explained to Claire that Jessica had passed away from breast cancer 3 years ago. Claire lowered her head. Tears that had stopped earlier fell to the ground once more. After a while, Claire looked up with a determined expression and spoke directly to me.
Would you attend the wedding as my father?
Wait a minute. That's a bit much, isn't it? I instinctively rejected Claire's proposal, but her determination was unwavering.
My real father won't come to the wedding. My fiancé and his parents know about my situation and have told me I can have the wedding any way I want.
Claire said that she felt a sense of warmth and security in Jessica as a mother and in me as a father.
You two are like family to me.
Her words nearly brought me to tears. Jessica and I met at different times and in different places, yet here was someone who considered us her parents. I felt that the warm family I thought was unattainable was now within reach. For the first time in a long while, I felt Jessica close by, and my resolve solidified. All right. I'll attend the wedding as your father.
Thank you.
Claire's usual cheerful voice echoed through the air. That's why you resemble Jessica so much, Claire. I guess children do take after their parents.
Huh?
Claire turned around, but I shook my head. It's nothing, I said with a smile. On the day of the wedding, I found myself dressed in a morning coat I never thought I would wear, and my nerves quickly heightened. His parents seemed to have heard about me from the couple and accepted me without hesitation. Please take care of her for a long time. Hearing those words from his parents, I felt genuinely relieved that Claire had married such a wonderful person.
Dad.
Claire's words made me turn around. Wearing a pure white wedding dress, she looked at me with a shy smile. You look absolutely stunning. Tears welled up in my eyes.
Dad, I'm counting on you today.
Claire's radiant smile overlapped with Jessica's. During the ceremony, watching Claire so full of happiness, I felt as if I were in a dream. The newlyweds were too busy to enjoy the delicious-looking food. Claire will probably lament later about how she couldn't eat. I thought as I watched them with a smile. Then, after the outfit change, they reappeared. The doors opened to the sound of sparkling music. Oh. I quickly opened my phone. That's the same dress Jessica wore. Claire was wearing a pink dress adorned with scattered cherry blossom petals. The dress was accented with green lace ribbons in places, and both Jessica and I had fallen in love with it at first sight. There was no doubt. Tears streamed down my face, blurring my view of Claire in her beautiful dress. Claire looked at me and smiled warmly. As the ceremony neared its end, the host spoke. Next, the bride would like to express her gratitude to everyone. The room dimmed.
Thank you so much for gathering here today to celebrate with us.
In her usual bright and clear voice, Claire began to speak, looking directly at each person in the room. After expressing her gratitude to her friends, her partner, and his parents, she finally looked straight at me and began to speak.
My mother passed away when I was very young, and my father disappeared. The grandmother who raised me is also no longer with us. When I had lost hope in life, it was a school nurse in middle school who saved me. She was the wife of Tom, who is here today as my father.
Claire spoke slowly, sharing how much Jessica had helped her, how she felt a mother's love from Jessica, and how she had lived her life wanting to be like her.
And Tom, who is here as my father today, is my boss at work.
Without knowing that he was Jessica's husband, Claire mentioned that she felt a sense of familiarity with me and that she had grown close to me and even treated me like her real father.
Dad, how do I look in my dress?
Claire asked me. The staff handed me a microphone. You look absolutely beautiful. I'm sure Jessica is very happy too. Jessica passed away in February when it was snowing. She loved cherry blossoms, and she was very sad that she wouldn't see them bloom again. Claire, I hope you and your husband will celebrate many springs together. I'm sure your real parents would wish the same. Holding back tears, I conveyed my message as best as I could. Claire broke down in tears. I felt bad, considering how perfectly her makeup had been done. But I wanted Claire to understand that she was here because of her real parents. I wanted her to realize this at such a significant moment in her life. After a while, Claire lifted her head, looked at me, and nodded firmly. Even though I am who I am, I will do my best to be someone you can continue to think of as a father. Please take care of me, Claire. In response to my words, Claire smiled and waved both her hands. And so, the wedding, filled with happiness, came to a close. A year later, Claire gave birth to a baby girl. Claire sends me photos of the baby every day. This is how life continues. It's a blessing. Meeting Claire, who sees me and Jessica as her parents, allowed me to fulfill the promise I made to Jessica. This is what a warm family is. Blood ties don't matter. It's the love, the desire to cherish each other, and the wish to walk together that envelopes everyone and creates a warm family. Of course, Jessica is part of that too. Feeling Jessica watching over us from above, I cherish this happiness as I continue to live. I looked up at the sky and made that vow. How did you enjoy this story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.